Let's talk about the Pokemon community. Let's talk about it today. Yeah, it's your boy, the Insane Game Freak, or your boy known as Terrell. Or I guess on the channel this is actually on. It's the Schizomanic. So hi, how you doing? How you feeling? The anti-Pokemon community is trash. The anime Pokemon community, it's absolute trash. And let me explain to you why. I actually had to re-record this because I was not confident in this one. So if this one gets uploaded, that means I was confident in this one. I've been in the series for the longest, like a lot of you guys. And let's be real here. I think a lot of people have noticed over the course of its run, the community surrounding the anime specifically, not the game. So I apologize for those of you who know nothing of this, because this shit's not going to make no sense to you. So I'm sorry in advance. I don't even expect this to change any minds. But hey, you just put shit out into the ether and you see what happens. But over the course of the anime's run, things in some ways have gotten progressively worse. And it feels like the fan base specifically has gotten progressively worse. Now listen, everyone has opinions. Perfectly fine. Not everybody's going to agree. That's perfectly fine. And you're probably wondering, Walter, why do you feel like you need to be the one to say anything? It's not that I need to be the one to say anything. It's more likely I'm the only one who's going to realistically say anything. I'm going to just be real with you. You got some of these bigger Pokemon anime content creators who are like, bro, I'm not trying to fuck up my money. And I'm perfectly cool with that. I understand. You have a life that you're either providing for yourself or family or friends or loved ones in general. I'm not asking you to come out here and fuck up your finances to piss off a bunch of children. And I don't want to say it's only children, but let's be real here. Pokemon is a children's show first. Everyone else who is into it is either into it because you started watching it as a child or you've retroactively gotten sucked into a community. But first and foremost, Pokemon is a children's show. And it feels like I understand that as the time goes on, that age gap is gonna get wider and fucking wider. The same thing happens with any popular children's media. Fucking Mickey Mouse has been going on for over what I think over 100 years at this point. Fucking the gap is just gonna keep getting goddamn wider. You got people from 5 year olds being first introduced to this shit to people in their fucking 40s and 50s. Like, bro, I love this shit and I need to have a conversation. It's primarily on Twitter, but Twitter is a toxic cesspool of a bunch of people who are constantly trying to figure themselves out, but for some reason feel the need to post every single process of that development online, and then you're surprised that they act like they're fucking unstable. Now I'm going to use my friend TSS as an example, not to shame him in any way, but to just show a difference in the mentality. So TSS is a friend of mine who has openly, and if you watch the Pokepod, you know, he actively enjoys journeys. He will call out when it's bad, but for the most part, he actively enjoys journeys and he reviews journeys to itself. Now me and him get into it all the time because I just don't fucking agree with the fact that journeys is good. But he is allowed to have that opinion and state that opinion. I think he's fucking wrong, but he's allowed to have and state that opinion. So don't think that what I'm about to go over is that we just disagree on shit. It's the hypocrisy, the constant contradictions, and the insanity that come from what I would call the extremes of this, which are fucking I don't even want to say children, but I'll say children mentality individuals who have made claims about racism, sexism, pedophilia. They've literally been calling motherfuckers you support some of the most heinous shit in the world. And we're talking about a show about a 10-year-old boy trying to become the very best like no one ever was. And motherfuckers are out here talking about how if you have this opinion of the anime, you must support pedophilia, racism, and sexism, and all other types of shit, abuse, whatever. And at a certain point, I had to sit here and question myself, what the fuck is going on in your life? Well, realistically, I probably have an idea and a theory, which is what I will share with you now. I recognize at the end of the day, this shit is meant for entertainment. You watch Pokemon, My Little Pony, fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!, Spy X Family, One Piece, Ozark, Breaking Bad. Motherfuckers watch these shows as an escape from the mundane monotony of their lives, whether it's some shit going on that's some dead ass serious shit that you just don't want to deal with, or you just had a rough day at work. This community, along with many others, is meant to be an escape. And so, because of that, you don't want to acknowledge the real criticisms people have of Journeys. And let's be real, Journeys being the newest Pokemon series means it's born in an era where everybody is on the internet talking, and they don't stop talking. And if you've embedded yourself in this community, you will always hear somebody's voice. If you're in a Discord server, you're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, fucking the forums on Cerebi or Bulbapedia, you will always hear this shit. And some of you guys, because this is your safe space, this is like this little bubble that allows you to be free and happy and enjoy a children's cartoon to the fullest extent that you want to, you don't want anyone to fuck with that bubble. So when people start fucking with that bubble by stating their own opinions, you get defensive and get angry and start throwing every reason in the fucking book to call them whatever the fuck you want to call them, because of course they're trying to ruin your fun and they just don't want to acknowledge that the series is good. But here's the thing about opinions. All of you are allowed to have them, meaning you are obviously going to run across an individual who disagrees with you. Also, some of you literally are still developing as individuals. To be fair, we all are. And then every day, the goal is to be a little bit better than what you were the day before. That means you need to fucking listen and not jump to fucking conclusions. You're also talking on forums in which people can't properly explain themselves. If you're on fucking Twitter, that has a character limit, by the way. If you're on a fucking forum, character limit. If you're on fucking Discord in a server and there's like 16 people on a call and you all want to start talking about some shit and you're getting mad because y'all just don't want to have fun with the series. There's nothing wrong with you having fun with the series. But if you can't take anyone criticizing your favorite series, you know what you do? You have a mute button. You have a mute button on Twitter. You have a block button. Almost every social media site lets you do those things, okay? Do not insert yourself in conversations you know damn well you don't want to deal with. If you don't want to hear about how Go's a shitty ass character and how the writing for Journeys is fucking ass, you know what you do? You surround. Now, realistically, I don't think it's healthy to do this, but if things are fucking with you to that extent that you feel the need to start pulling out things like, oh, he must be a racist because he doesn't like Go. Even though, and it's funny because these are some of the people who make these claims and ridiculous statements in the community. Fuck you, phone. Some of the people who make these claims in this community and say the most ridiculous shit are motherfuckers who have made contradictory statements in the past. I'll give you an example. People talk all this shit about Go because Go ain't shit. That's a personal opinion of mine. I don't think Go's shit, right? But then you look at Iris from Best Wishes. So when people hated on Go, it's racism. But when people hated on Iris, she's just a bad character. All she tells Ash is that he's a little kid. She's just shitty written. What the fuck happened? They're the same race. Well, they're at least both darker skinned characters. I don't think we know the specifics, nor do I really care. But now when Iris gets reintroduced into Journeys and people say anything about Iris, then it's some racism. It's almost as if people's opinions have randomly just started to change because it fits into the safe little narrative of you being like, everything in Journeys is great. Well, X and Y didn't present Alon the way he could have been presented, so I think the battle in the recent episode was great. And someone in the back will be like, bruh, the episode was like a minute and a half and his best mind got taken out like it was a joke. The shit was even poorly choreographed. A lot of the characters are off model. You can say all that shit and they'd be like, well, you must be a fucking hater. Huh? What? Because I disagree with you, I'm a hater? Not because, I'm wrong, but because and the problem is you create this negative ass dialogue, this toxic ass dialogue. Someone recently said some shit about how Pokemon Journeys feels like an abusive relationship because every time someone fucking said, and it's funny because I've said this numerous times, but it's hilarious how this only gets brought up sometimes depending on who says it. That's the other thing, because we're in a fucking community, the leaders of the community either do one or two things. They either stay intrinsically positive or don't get too divisive to maintain their money. Once again, not mad at you, just pointing out a reality. Or they do make an opinion they have to like sugarcoat it in the nicest way possible to fucking spare these children's feelings because you guys are so afraid of your world being shattered. But tell me, is it just as healthy to get on the fucking website and start calling people slurs and saying they're fucking racist and pedophiles and they support domestic violence and shit? I'm like, we're not even having that conversation. We're talking about a cartoon anime. Unless I brought up something about your mother and start bringing it to you, you shouldn't be assuming I'm a racist just because I don't like Iris's character or because I don't like Go's character. You shouldn't be assuming I'm a sexist because I didn't want to see Serena again. You shouldn't assume all this shit. But this shit comes up all the fucking time because everybody wants to tie in a goddamn narrative with something that doesn't fucking connect in any way, shape, or form. Just because I say some shit about Serena doesn't automatically mean. I think someone said, "Oh, well, Serena's pretty cute. Oh, you must be a fucking pedophile." What? I'm sorry. We're talking about a cartoon 2D image. You're over here calling me a pedophile because I thought the picture was cute? What the fuck is happening? And all this shit is progressed because people just don't want people to say shit about journeys. You know what you've done by being this defensive of a show? You've made people go out of their way to fuck with you just because you've gotten this crazy people. That's literally the concept of trolling. They literally come and fuck with you for that specific reason. Get out. Pokemon as a series has been going around so long, and I recognize that for a lot of you guys, this is how you made friends. This is how some of you may have met your fucking future girlfriend or husband or whatever the fuck you want to call them through this community. Because a lot of time is spent and there's a lot of people in this bitch. And I understand that some people think and let's be real here, and motherfuckers can be as delusional as they want to, but the quality of the show has decreased moving forward. Like, realistically, it's not gotten better. It has not. It's gotten worse in whatever way. It also depends on what you were into Pokemon for to begin with. But the point I'm making is that the show intrinsically has not gotten better. And I feel like the rest of you are so afraid that if your series goes down the hole of being like a shitty anime that no one wants to fuck with, as if your community is going to crumble. But if you've made all these close friends and ties and connections and shit, it won't matter if the show becomes absolute dog shit. There are plenty of fucking shows that have turned to complete ass and people are still close friends of it. They'll still have love in their hearts for those shows because those shows are what connected them in the first place. But if some shit dies, people are constantly changing. You think you're going to be able to stay on Discord and dick around with your friends until 6 o'clock in the morning for the rest of your life? No, because you all have different lives and things you're going through and changes you're going through. And you may not even be a person who gives a fuck about Pokemon in any way, shape, or form in the future. But if the connection was real to begin with, it won't make a goddamn difference. But the community is so hung up on this space, this cute, quaint little idea that we're all gonna be friends forever. And listen, I know how this shit feels because this shit happens. If you watch any anime, any slice of life anime once that like takes place in like high school and shit, what does most of those animes end with? They end with probably their senior year or their junior year of like the show ending around that graduation and things changing, like people getting together in couples, people going different ways for their careers, some people just fucking are just going straight into the workforce, right? And some people want to become teachers and they all separate. That's what slice of life anime teaches you, is that like this is just change. It's part of growing up. And a lot of you are young enough to where you can still enjoy these moments, but you're so hooked on this show. It's like a fucking cult. This community is trash because y'all can't just fucking objectively look at a show without it turning into some weird hate-filled war based in literally nothing but feelings. Feelings, not objective truths, not objective facts, feelings. And some of you feed off of it. Let's be real. Some of you motherfuckers, no matter what anyone says to you, are going to be some toxic son of a bitches. Like, really, your life is going to have to be ruined for some of you motherfuckers to change your ways. Let's just be real about it. Because that's how it is in any community. There are some people who are so far gone in their communities that no matter... You know what? Actually, Verlicify is a good example of that. That's a motherfucker who's been around for the longest. And motherfuckers have acknowledged how shitty and toxic he is for the longest time. and and he's still just here. Now, obviously, he's more on the game and the video game side of things, but the point I'm making still stands. Some motherfuckers will just stay toxic, and if you know, it's easy to point the motherfuckers out because those are the motherfuckers. If you look at them from like the last 5 years, and you notice they haven't changed at all, that's called stagnation, and that is unhealthy as fuck. And guess what? Those are the people who will just be slowly ostracized from the community, and people just won't deal with them anymore. But the community really needs to reevaluate itself and understand this shit is not healthy, dog. Y'all, if you were the individual claiming racism, sexism, pedophilia based off of a comment about a fucking children's anime, you need to rethink yourself and your life and recognize that maybe what the best thing you need to do is take a step back from social media. That's actually, I would say, some of the biggest things that would help fix this issue. Some of you guys don't need to be on Twitter like that. Some of you guys don't need to be on Twitter at fucking all. Because who the fuck... I'm still baffled by that shit. Motherfuckers acted like... And then motherfuckers took this shit so seriously. It wasn't like someone was like, bro, I want to fuck a 2-year-old. People are out here saying shit like that. You said Serena was cute, and all of a sudden that turned into, well, you must fuck kids, huh? Even though we've in the last like 5 to 10 years, waifu culture has been rampant as fuck with the surge of VTubers and shit. But all of a sudden, calling an anime character cute and you going to jail, you bitch. Like this shit is ridiculous. It is genuinely frustrating how deep this rabbit hole has gone into absolute dog shit. And I have my opinions that will always be the way I feel, which is that Journeys is some ass. But you know what I did? And you can see it on the channel and I've proven it. I don't watch Journeys anymore. Because at the end of the day, this shit's meant to be entertainment. If I'm not entertained, guess the fuck what? I'm not watching it. But some of you guys feel differently. A lot of the friends I'm with still fucking watch this dog shit ass show. Some of them don't even actively like it, and some of them actively recognize it ain't shit. But once again, I recognize that if you are a content creator, this is your money. This is your money maker. You can't just stop. You can't just stop. But for those in the community who are just like onlookers and people on Twitter and y'all hang out in Discords and y'all don't really make content, if a show, and this is really what this is the most poignant part, if the show in connection is bringing you so much grief and social anxiety and stress and fucking depression, is the show even doing the job it was supposed to do anymore? And if it still does that job for you when you're not part of the community, then maybe you should separate yourself from them. It's crazy. There's so many things you could be doing. So many things people can be doing, and they just choose not to. Because motherfuckers like being in this little toxic ass fan base. So when I call this community trash and I talk about the shittiness of people on social media saying the dumbest fucking things, if you don't want to have healthy debate and if you're not willing to yield to another person's opinion to at least understand where they're coming from, if you can't do that, and a lot of you can't, but if you are not willing to do that, listen, if you are currently in a Twitter argument or some sort of discussion or disagreement, if you cannot at least explain to that, if you cannot at least understand and reiterate to the person that you understand where their argument is coming from and properly refute it, then you don't need to be arguing shit. If someone tells you, let's say, if someone tells you Iris is the best she's ever been and best wishes, and I'd say I disagree with it. I think in Journeys, her characterization is great, but her battling skills are poor as fuck. And you'd be like, oh, well, you must be a hater and be like, oh, you're a racist because Iris is black. If you can't then go back and reiterate why he thinks why he thinks the way he thinks, that means you didn't fucking listen or get it. And just in that same example, the reason why someone would say Iris is the best she's ever been in Journeys is because she's achieved the rank of champion. She's in the Masters 8, so even if we haven't seen her battle, we haven't seen a lot of her battles on screen, you know, technically she is a strong battler to even make it up there. And we know, and considering the people she's around, it makes perfect sense why you would think that she's at the best she's ever been because she's reached this amazing status and she's up here with the other greats like Cynthia and Leon and Lance and shit. It makes perfect sense. If you can't refute a point and reiterate why they think the way they do, that means you don't know how to fucking argue and you never got it. And that goes for both sides. I don't know, bruh. Community's fucking trash, dog. And sometimes, like I said, the funny thing is there's so many options to still enjoy Journeys or Pokemon in general and not deal with this shit. Like what I do. I don't fucking watch the show, but I still enjoy the games. I still indulge in conversations if people want to talk about it. I'm not getting too deep into the show because I already know and recognize the dog shit. And there will be at least one more series of videos covering Journeys as a whole. But I'm also a content creator, so that's probably the reason why that's happening. But like, I will enjoy Pokemon in my own way. If I'm gonna watch the series, I'll watch it on my own time. I ain't got to tweet about it. You will never know if I finish X and Y or Sun and Moon or Best Wishes or fucking Diamond and Pearl, because I don't need to fucking tell y'all shit. Motherfuckers don't need to tell y'all everything. It's almost like you're asking for someone to comment on your life, and then you get mad when they comment on your life. Then stop posting shit. Damn, it's fucking nuts to me. Y'all trip about like the smallest things and things people say, and I'm like, then don't fucking post it. Shut the fuck up. You're so caught up in the social media social media era, where everyone needs to see everything you're doing, and then you want validation for it, which is why we lead into these situations. But I don't want to drag this out to some ridiculous or malicious degree. Just understand, if you want to still enjoy Journeys and not deal with the fuckery that goes on online, you know what you can do? Just disconnect. And I honestly would hold that as a legit challenge. If you can disconnect from the Pokemon anime community for like a month, just watch the show, have your own opinions. Don't fucking look it up on social media. Just watch the show at your leisure and see the conclusions you come up with. And in a month's time, come back and see how everyone else felt about those things, and see, were you happier before you got back online and talked about it, or were you happier when you were just watching the fucking show? Because some of you, I think, genuinely would be more happier if you just watched the show and enjoyed it. You can still watch videos that just talk about the show. You can still watch your theories. Just don't fucking get online and open your fucking mouth. And I'm serious. Some of you need to go back and look up the definition of racism, sexism, pedophilia, all these derogatory accusations motherfuckers are making. Y'all really need to get your fucking shit together. And for those of you who are making your money off of this, GG's. Go get yours. No disrespect there. But goddamn, this is a sad state of a community, dog. And it's all over this one dumbass iteration. Fucking X and Y. X and Y had its level of toxicity with shipping, which is just a shitty part about anime culture in general. Actually, it's just a shitty part about like media in general. Motherfuckers like to ship individuals, some that don't make any fucking sense, but then they get toxic and defensive as if they own that ship. You can't show me a rival ship or else you're a fucking asshole. Like, see how angry you're getting? Whoa, watch it, buddy. What the fuck is going on? It's crazy. Good God almighty. Some of y'all really need to take a step back from this shit. I'm serious. If you've called anyone a racist, a sexist, an abuser, if you called anyone some ridiculous shit in the last few weeks over Pokemon comments, get the fuck out. You need to get the fuck out. If they were talking about a fucking cartoon anime and you said and you called them one of those things, you need to reevaluate yourself as an individual, as a human fucking being, because you don't know what the fuck you were talking about. Oh, Jesus Christ. But I think at this point I'm just repeating myself. We'll see how this goes. This is probably going to end poorly for me, but fuck it. That's the life you choose when you come out here and put your foot into the pedestal of the fire and go, why the fuck is my foot burning? Like I didn't know what the fuck I was getting into. But thank you all for watching. I appreciate that. If anyone takes anything from this and reevaluates themselves in the fandom, I appreciate it. And responses and opinions are all welcome. I'm not blocking or deleting comments or any of that other dumb shit. I'm just posting this out into the ether and see what comes of it. Ugh. Life's a game, play to win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.